Hi, so I'm Dilip Jain, based out of Bombay. By education, I've done my CA and MBA, and I've been in the corporate and business world for almost 15 odd years. In parallel, I was volunteering with Wangchuk in Ladakh and got to understand about the other side of the world, which is to do with ecology and society, and also understood how the economy world is creating problem for the larger ecosystem, be it spiritual, social, or ecological. And therefore, a few years back, I decided to leave that economy world and work on the ecological aspects, because there is lot more here which is of greater value, which we have forgotten in the quest of materialism. So the way I started, I would say, is one is I have to undo my conditioning, then get myself trained under somebody who's an expert. So I was, in a way, I volunteered for 3 years full time with Sonam Wangchuk in Ladakh. So I was getting trained to understand these issues, understand how to handle those issues, understand how to manage resources, how to get the community along. So once the training period is over and you start walking the path, lot of other channels and paths open. But I think the key is to start walking the path, and that itself is the biggest step, because generally people think that, okay, till I don't know where the path will lead, I will not start walking onto it. So we didn't start really with adopting a village and transforming it. We started by on conserving a forest and working on biodiversity. But then we said, okay, we can't do that unless villages are together with us, and villages can be together with us only when they are integrated in our effort, and therefore we started working on village. So I think once a person starts walking, it works. And but yeah, training is important. Having a good mentor, good guru is very important on the journey, and definitely support of everybody. But I think once you start walking, a lot of things fall in place. So as JED Foundation, currently we have adopted, or I would say the villages adopted us, where we are focusing on one Adivasi village called Chinchwadi, which is 100 kilometers from Mumbai. And in this village, we are working on various aspects. The biggest problem here is obviously water. So we are working on sustainable way of water harvesting, not just putting in pumps, but long-term solution. Similarly, we are working on women empowerment, because water, women are all interlinked. So in terms of women empowerment, we are doing work on sports so that they become little more confident in managing their own stuff. We are working on education of the little children who have got severely affected due to COVID, and otherwise also the state of education is not very good. We want to work on waste management, but it's a very complicated problem, and we are doing some small experiments but not yet set in. So basically water, women, waste, wealth, wisdom, variety of those things. The whole idea is that if we can make this one village little better than what it was earlier, in terms of various aspects, not just financially but also ecologically, socially, spiritually, in terms of various aspects, by engaging the community, it would be wonderful. And once we have that one model, maybe we'll look at scaling up at other places. 4-5 साल पहले हुआ था में फिर पता था, एक दो बार मिले थे, कोर्स के बारे में पता चला, चलो इसको एक थोड़ा गांव में पूछ देते हैं. So for example, say in water, generally the women have to walk for 2 to 3 hours for 2 to 3 months just to fetch water in summer. And that was one difficulty which was very visible and very common in most of the hilly areas of Western Ghats, although it is the highest rainfall zone. So when we saw this difficulty, we thought, okay, what can we do about it? By engaging the villages. So we did a lot of work with the villages to ask them to do Shramdan, because the whole idea was not to give them a solution which is a corporatized solution that we are doing, but to involve them as a community to solve their own problems, so that they own the thing and can sustain it even after we exit. So in this water thing, we engage them in various ways. So after Shramdan, we made sure that we don't use machineries but use villages, so that it gives them livelihood and solves their water problem. So we have been able to build a well. There's work going on lake. We have done plantation of 1,000 trees. All these things over next 2-3 years, I'm sure the current issue that they have to work for 2 to 3 months would reduce to maybe 1 month maximum. So I think 80% of their water problems we should be able to resolve in a year or two. And if we are able to do that, I think that will be a good achievement. Also, the burden of water is not to the entire community, it's all on women. And because of that, they have to manage the household work, they have to fetch water, they have to take care of the farms and everything. So also it creates little, I would say, structure where men are more empowered but they don't do much and get into alcohol, and women who do all the work are left high and dry. And to solve this, we took on another approach of sports, where we are able to get together girls, make them play for few hours, and when the girls come together and play and the men of the village see them, they get little worried. The girls feel little more empowered. The girls have a community and a bonding to deal with. And when we are doing these things, obviously we get some resistance from the villages, but we see that it is having indirectly a lot of good impact on the villages, also on the boys, because now they see, okay, girls are doing so many things and they are going ahead, we need to catch up or do something about it.
ऐसे कोई गांव में आकर कोई अगर काम करना चाहता है, इनिशियल एज अ can say a suggestion or maybe something which will help him or her to just to initiate that journey.
I think सबसे बड़ा चीज़ इनिशिएट करने में इज़ हमारे कंडीशनिंग को और हमारे जो भी माइंडसेट को पूरा का पूरा अनलर्न करना पड़ेगा, अबैंडन करना पड़ेगा. So if I come as a corporate with my degrees and with my bank balance and all, I'll not be able to work. So I have to be like one of the villagers in their work, then only I can gain their confidence to do a work. But if I come with a mindset that, okay, I know the solution, I know the problem, I have the money and will do it, it doesn't work. So we have to really go to their level and do the work, and if that happens, I think it is wonderful. But I think the challenge of the conditioning is that it's very difficult to step back and step into another shoes while doing rural development work, especially people who come from, say, in a little privileged background. So I think not just education, but the whole system currently is being governed in a way by agenda of corporates or agenda of say economy, to grow the economy. And when it is driven by one particular agenda, we tend to neglect everything else. So one might say that our GDP is increasing or per capita income is increasing, but if we really look at last 50 years, the poverty level has worsened in India. While the per capita income has increased, the poor have not changed much. In fact, their condition has worsened. Earlier they were having their farms and water bodies intact, now even those are not intact. So I think the whole education system has to be very contextual to the region, it has to be hands-on, it has to be relevant for that segment rather than having one system across the country. And that contextual hands-on system has to address the real problems. Like currently, I think majority of the elite class are going for whatever best of the IT systems and solving problems of the space and better rockets and whatnot. But we know the biggest problem of the world currently are water, waste, and there are very few institutions working at a scale which will address these problems. So the resources there are a lot of resources, but they are going in a direction where it is not necessarily required at this stage, but resources where it is required, where it matters most to maximum number of people, there aren't enough resources, be it biodiversity, be it water, be it waste. And I think we need to change the way we look at things, because it doesn't serve the 90% of the population. The 10% might be doing the best with whatever we have as a system, and the education system is also designed by them to serve their need rather than for the 90% to serve their needs. So somewhere there's a lacuna, and I'm sure there are many initiatives, small, they are not at a scale, but many initiatives who are trying to address this issue, and I think they are doing pretty well. Yeah.
And when someone walks into this kind of a development sector, there is struggle at every day, every step. So how do you stay motivated, or what inspires you to keep on fighting, keep on walking?
So I think this is a very philosophical question, and I think one needs to understand what Gandhi said, that when we are in service, we can't have a condition that by my service I should get something in return, or whatever was said in Gita, karm karo, phal ki ichha mat karo. But to get that to that mindset is also a matter of conditioning. So we have been working in this village. Sometimes we get very good response and support. Sometimes we think it is useless working for these people, they are not supportive enough or things. But then we keep on going, because when we say, okay, we want to change their life for better, and it's not we are changing their life for better. By doing this, we are also changing our own life for better. So I'm not doing it only for them, I'm doing it for my own self also. And when there is this service mentality and you do it selflessly, I think it works and the motivation comes. Also a lot of other things get into place when we really work with the right intent. So कायनात जमा हो जाती है आपके ख्वाहिशों को पूरा करने के लिए, जब आपके ख्वाहिशें अच्छी हो और नेक हो. So I don't think it is a challenge. The challenge could be in other ways in terms of managing your finances and all. luckily I have a good family and support from my family, and I'm sure most of the people who are privileged and well educated in our country have such support, just that they have got into the rat race of making more money, not knowing really what to do with that more money. But if they could channelize themselves into doing something which is more meaningful, it would not only give meaning to their own life but also have a huge impact on so many things in the world. The way things are, the future of rural India looks very bleak, primarily for two reasons. One is because their soil, water, and air has got severely polluted, is getting only worse by the day. So earlier, rural India was entrepreneurial. They were businessmen by themselves. They were doing their own farms. They were having their own kettles and managing their own stuff in their own way. And they were not dependent on really the outside world or cities. But now, when their soil, water, and air is polluted, they have no option but to abandon and depend on the city. Now, when that happens, it is two ways. One is they are no more entrepreneurs; they become slave of somebody. And when they become slave of somebody, it is very difficult to really sustain on your own self. So unless we don't really give value to the indigenous knowledge, the indigenous biodiversity, the indigenous elements of soil, water, we can't really develop a village by creating a factory and destroying the whole ecosystem. So the ecosystem of village has to remain intact for development of the village, and I think Gandhi spoke about this extensively in Gram Swaraj, that village has to be self-sustainable, and to make it self-sustainable the elements have to be intact. And I think if we get that focus right, yes, a lot can be done. But if we just want to develop it the way cities have got developed, then I think we are heading into the wrong path, and we'll learn hopefully someday and come back. So there are a lot of challenges. Yes, there is a political issue in most of the villages because of two parties, three parties. There is a lack of will because too much is coming too free. So they get free ration, they get lot of soaps and shampoos and food through some or other NGOs. When a lot of things come for free, their interest of doing something themselves reduces, because they say, okay, why should I even farm now? I get food easily. And when that happens, while we may think we are doing good for them, but we are making them dependent. And combined with this is now digital revolution, which is good in many ways, but in villages where the schools are not working, where they are no more interested in their farms and cattle because of the education, now they have PUBGs and free fire to play on. So the whole young generation is getting I think on the wrong path with the state that we are in currently. And I think a lot needs to be done. A lot of efforts are being done. Will wise, people want their life to be better and do something about it, but I think the whole system or ecosystem that is getting built around them, be it free digital or free food or free education which is not contextual, is making them not atmanirbhar but dependent, and when that happens, I think it is not very good.
Anything that you want to add? Or
I would maybe, I think young people of my age, 40s or whatever, and who are from reasonably good privileged background, I think they should step up and really work on the other side of the world to see the issues of society, ecology. And when we see this, we really understand spirituality and the larger meaning of life and make an impact to it. So I would welcome them all to spend some time in my village. Thank you.
बहुत बढ़िया, thank you so much.